Welcome to the Church Resource, where we talk about the best resources for pastors, leaders, and lay people. I'm your host, Jeff Oliver. Today I'm looking at a resource with you that is very important for you to have on your shelf really from day one, even before day one. If you start as a pastor, if you start as any kind of ministry leader in a church, this is Nelson's Minister's Manual. This is the New King James Version. It's Nelson's just because it's Nelson Publishing. It's edited, of course, by one particular man, Thomas Rowe. And I just think that this is a resource that you have to have with you so that as you handle things that come up in the ministry, as you handle, because people expect a minister, or especially a pastor of a church, but if you have any kind of authoritative, I can say that word, role in someone's life, they will ask you at some point, somebody will ask you to officiate, to do some kind of official ceremony in their life, whether it's a wedding, a funeral, a baby dedication, or anything like that. So this is just a great tool to have. It's small, kind of fits in a coat pocket if you would want to do that, and it's easy to just carry along with you and have with you next to your Bible, or you can slip notes into it with some scriptures in there. But just as an example, this has, and I love the way this is laid out. So it's not just one stock sermon for a wedding, for example. This is so under the section, the heading of weddings, you're going to have issues to address in premarital counseling. That's about 10 pages. And then we're going to have a sample wedding registration form, also a sample wedding ceremony, formal, and then there's an informal one. And then for a second marriage, some thoughts, some ways you can share in a wedding ceremony with that. A vow renewal ceremony. This is, of course, it's going to be dated. I would recommend you getting the most current one that you can. But this one's from 2003, so already 20 years dated. But it also has some traditional wedding scriptures, favorite wedding hymns. Of course, that's going to be added to as the years go by. So just a way that you can take a look at this, and it's so great to have this as a security blanket for you. If you go into that situation, you think, I have no idea what to say to make this meaningful, to make this memorable maybe, and really make it look like I know what I'm talking about. So this is how I used it many times, is that I would take this and use this at least as an outline for a kind of sermon you want to fill in with very personal things about the wedding party, about the husband and wife who are getting married, certainly about the person you might be burying, and you're working and officiating in that ceremony, and you're going to say some things that are very personal for the family, and that will be more meaningful as they go through that process and are part of that service. So even as speaking about funerals, it talks about whether maybe this child or youth, maybe it's an accident victim, maybe it's somebody who has dealt with a long-term health issue, things to say at the graveside, and then also traditional scriptures and hymns that would be associated with the funeral that would be of particular comfort to a family. So in addition to those two things are kind of the biggies that you would need to have this as a quick resource for you, just a guide, something that would accompany you to those ceremonies. You would have also dedications, how to work through baptism and Lord's Supper, some things to consider when you are designing a worship service, and invocations that you can do, offertory prayers, benedictions, and ways to think through those things. Also pastoral care. What are some things to think about as you go through and do hospital visitation or nursing home visitation? So that's going to be very important. Also, how to handle an invitation that you would offer at the end of a service to invite people to church membership, or to make some kind of decision or to offer the altar for prayer, how you might think through those things. So I just loved having this as a week-to-week minister, and somebody who could get called on at any moment to just be an official part of a ceremony, to be a part of somebody's life, that you would need to have this tool with you and have this next to you to be able to take this out. Also, like this kind of a sleek design, looks very like you do have it kind of together, and you're not shuffling with a bunch of papers up there, but this is just a concise, very well done manual. There are others that are put out. I mentioned this one's the Nelson's Minister's Manual. I have had recommended to me the W.A. Criswell, similar manual to this, and that might be worth looking at. We could look at it in a future church resource for you, but that's the one that I have used, and this is just one book on my shelf that's been so helpful to me in my ministry. I hope it gives you a bit of direction as you prayerfully consider which resources will best help you and the people you minister to. Well, thanks for listening to the Church Resource. Please make sure you give us a review. And if you have any suggestions of resources that you would like us to look at, email us at thechurchresource@gmail.com. That's thechurchresource@gmail.com.